American Eagle says, "Hi, I would like to thank you for sharing your technique, but I do have some concerns. First, some words have multiple meanings. Yeah. So how does one create an association in such a case? Also, the association is easy for concrete words like apple, but harder for abstract words like equality. So how do we approach these abstract words? Finally, I'm doubtful of the technique because I did this for 30 words in my target language, but forgot them right after the associations. How does the process work exactly? Is it a subconscious memory of vocabulary where you recognize it as you go, or are these associations meant for a person to remember the word? I watched your video on associations, but the difficulty of doing this with abstract words with multiple meanings and the lack of memorizing these long lists makes this technique hard for me. Is there any advice you recommend? That's a lot of questions. Okay, um, let's go. Let's answer them one by one. Some words have multiple meanings, so how does one create an association in such a case? You associate either the most common uh, meaning, or you associate the most useful meaning, or the easiest meaning, or all of them. You can create 2 or 3 different associations for each one of the meanings, right? If you have a word that normally means one thing, but then occasionally you can use it for something else, you can create an extra association for that other meaning. You could also associate the word and then so a triple association. So you associate all 3 images together. Um, Again, this is important. This association is easy for concrete words like apple, but harder for abstract words like equality. How do you approach these abstract words? Yeah, this is a problem often for a lot of people. What I recommend is there are 2 solutions to this, mostly. One is for words like equality, or I don't know, registration, or whatever, independence. No, independence is easy, right? But even if they are abstract words, there might be something physical, some image that you can visualize for it. So, like I just said, independence. Independence is not like you can't see an independence, but you can visualize George Washington and I don't know the names of the other ones. Yeah, you can visualize, the War of Independence and all that stuff. So you can easily visualize independence. For equality, you can visualize some activists or something like that as well. It depends on what's also, if you've got famous people or scenes from films as well are good, where they use the word, or famous people you associate with that word, that also works really well. Yeah, a specific scene from a specific film that you really like that they use, or a character that uses a specific word, and you remember the way they say it, that also works. You can use all your senses, yeah, not only your you don't have to use visuals only. You can also use sounds, even smells, or like feel like you can feel cold or hot as well, or things like that if you for certain words. So yeah, equality, visualize some activists, for example, or like how do you visualize association? The word. Visualize some sort of association. There are lots of different associations for like. This is the NRA is an association, right? It's easy. Visualize the NRA versus like for the word association. If in that language, association is different because association itself is not it's an abstract word. There's always some word that you can visualize for it. And the second one that I was going to talk about is you break up the word. In this case, equality into equal and et or it, and you visualize both of those. Or yeah, or kill, cowl, kill, something like that. Find two words that sound, or you break it up and then you find two words that sound like the parts. It's more complicated, but also it can be done. But my advice is to simply find something or someone that's visualizable, that's related to that specific abstract word, and you can visualize it. Okay. Oh, it's got more questions. Yeah. I'm doubtful the technique works because 30 words is my target language. Yeah, it won't always work, especially if you're not very experienced with it. This is a skill that you need to practice. You need to do it regularly, and you need to get better at it. And not all associations are the same. Yeah, the more vivid it is, basically the more elements there are. If you include sounds, smells, you visualize different things. The more elements you put in the story, in the association, the easier it will be to remember. And also, you need to see them in context later. So get some input, get some listening, and those words you'll see them in context. Also, if you review them with flashcards, that's also really helpful. Flashcards, in general, it's brute force learning, and it's not the most efficient way to learn, but it works if you're very consistent. So if you use associations, you need to review those words. Instead of having to review them 30 times in the next 3 months, each one of those words, you'll have to review them 3 or 4 times because you'll remember much more easily. So combine associations with input and spaced repetition, and also get better at associations. It's a skill and it's practice. It's an art more than a science.